Let's do a dark dive into psychology, dark psychology, and talk about Adam and Eve in the Bible. According to our own Bible, Adam was created from dirt in God's image, and then Eve was created from Adam's rib. Is that right? Do people still believe that? Because science blows that right out of the water. Men, males, your DNA is XY, not YY. That first X is the blueprint for life, and that first X is female. That's the reality. Early on in the womb, when you were conceived, you started out life as a little girl. There's a reason why we have nipples. There's a reason why we have remnants left over. Okay? You started out life as an androgynous little girl. You actually had a vagina at one point in your life. Then at some point at the 6 to 8 week mark, you started to convert to a boy. And it's an amazing thing. It's very, very complex. When you get into human DNA, we share, there's only 2% of our genome makes us human. The other 90% of our genome is shared among all life on the planet. You're 50% banana. Okay? We share 50% of our DNA share with a freaking banana. 60% of our DNA is shared with chickens. And what are chickens evolved from? Reptiles. Dinosaurs. When you're sitting down to that turkey dinner, understand you're actually eating the descendant of a dinosaur. Okay? Tortoises. We share 90% of our DNA with a tortoise. A reptile. Stop and think about that. We're more reptile than freaking human. You have remnants of reptiles. In the womb, when you're conceived, we have a cloaca. That is a reptilian feature. Also in birds. But it all converts. It's a very complex process. People should look into it. It's very interesting. I'm not going to get a deep dive into it. If you go look at your eye, stop right now and go look at your eyes in the mirror. Take a close look. Inside of your eye, near the tear duct, you're going to see a small flap of transparent skin. That's a remnant of a nictitating membrane. That's your third eyelid that used to exist when we were descendants from reptiles. Stop and think, people. Why are we believing in Adam and Eve? Why do you believe that the male is dominant on the planet? Because of the Bible. Every pack animal is matriarchal. It's not patriarchal. Look at a lot of pride of lions. The only thing that the male lion has to do is to procreate. He's there to defend his own DNA. And guess what? If another lion comes in and defeats him, that new lion is going to take over. If there's any cubs, he's going to kill them, and he's going to start procreating again. Best DNA. Survival of the fittest. That's what B.F. Skinner was getting at. That's what operant conditioning is. It's all about survival of the fittest. Survival of the animal and survival of the species. Stop and think about that. Horses is the same thing. It's matriarchal. Wolves are matriarchal. The males are there to defend the females. That's what our job is supposed to be. Bees are all bloody female. They create males on demand. This is nature. But yet we're stuck in the Bible. Oh, Adam and Eve. In the Bible, women were nothing more than property. They were property of the parents until they got married and then they're property of the husband. That's the reality. But yet women, female is the most dominant thing on the planet. It's the most important thing on the planet. And men's jobs is supposed to be to protect women. That's the reality. Female is dominant on the planet. But yet, Adam and Eve, you know what? We're living in a patriarchy. Human beings are a frickin' mess. The human animal is a mess. And people need to understand that we are not raised to be human beings anymore. We are not human beings anymore. We're a frickin' train wreck is what we are. As a result of all this Bible stuff. Human beings are a train wreck. We are not human beings anymore. We are raised to be persons. Something that can fit into this damn society that we call the Matrix. From the cradle, you're taught about religion. And I was abused. Mentally friggin' abused to believe in a God. And I understand that now. One of my grandmothers was actually militant. Every time I turned around, she's telling me, oh, you're going to go to hell if you don't believe in God, if you're not good. I had nightmares of my skin burning off in hell as a child. And I don't care how you slice it and dice it. That's mental friggin' abuse. Giving up the idea of God was easy. Giving up the idea of hell, that punishment, oh, that was hell on its own. That took years to understand that there is no such thing as hell. We're already living in hell. That's the reality. But people don't seem to get that. But as a result of the Bible, humanity has become an absolute fucking train wreck. We are not human beings anymore. We're raised to be persons. You're taught from a young age to value a fake dollar, a dollar that does not exist. Children today, I get on YouTube and I look at children today. There's so much talent in children today. Natural talent. Some of these children are freaking amazing on guitar, drums, and music. They're amazing artists, but yet they don't get any views. And parents tend not to push this because, hey, you know what? What are you going to do with the art and the music in society? So you're actually encouraged to do something else, which takes away the positive reinforcement. That itself is a punishment of its own. You see, B.F. Skinner wanted society based on positive reinforcement, but all society knows, as a result of all this bullshit psychology being shoved down your throat, all society knows of positive reinforcement is have a fucking treat. And that terrifies me. Positive reinforcement is all about your desires, your needs, your wants, and your ability, your need to stay safe, to avoid death. That's what positive reinforcement is all about. It's not have a frickin' treat. And let me tell you something. I'm watching right now as society itself collapses. Society was built for us. Okay? And again, in my last video, I told you about the blackouts in Europe. Once the blackout happened, you lost everything. You lost heat, water, power, communications, everything. The matrix up and disappeared like a fart in the wind, but people were begging for it to come back online. They couldn't wait to get back into the matrix. Oh my God, bring society back. What happens when the power grid fails and it doesn't come back online? Do people have any idea what's going on right now? You look at the solar flares hitting us right now. We're in the middle of a solar storm. And it's causing havoc on the planet. There's a whole lot of science that people are not aware of because of the Bible. Even growing up, if I questioned somebody about thunder or lightning, what is thunder or lightning? I was always told, you know what? Oh, God did it. Don't worry about it. That's creating ignorance. Why can't anybody tell a 10-year-old child what thunder or lightning is? Science can explain it. But yet, oh, God did it, but don't worry about it. We need to stop and think differently, man. Let me tell you something. Human beings, we need to get back on track to becoming an animal. Most people understand that we are animals, but most people have no idea what an animal is. We've lost connection. You look at dog training. People don't understand aggression because they don't understand their own aggression. They look at their dog and they call it aggressive. What pisses you off? What makes you upset? What makes you angry? What makes you show aggression? People, oh, dog's reactive. What scares you? What makes you reactive? This is what Skinner was getting at. We are animals, and we don't understand ourselves anymore. Jonathan Edwards, back in 1754, wrote a book called The Freedom of the Will, and even then, 250 years ago, he understood. And he said it himself. We understand, we know about our behaviors, but we don't know about their causes. What causes you to show aggression? What causes you to be afraid? It's your fight and flight response. But humanity right now is a train wreck. We don't understand ourselves. We've lost understanding of who we are. Because we're in shape to live in this bloody society called a matrix. Stop and think about that, people.